It was a cold December night in Los Angeles. Homeless man Michael was shivering in the freezing cold. While no one paid attention to him, a man stopped and offered him hot coffee. When he learned who that man was, he was shocked. December 15th, 2022, Thursday night. Los Angeles was experiencing an unusually cold winter night. The temperature was 5 degrees Celsius, quite low for the city. On the bench at the entrance of Griffith Park, Michael Davidson, a 42-year-old former software engineer, was shivering wrapped in a thin blanket. 6 months ago, Michael's life was completely different. He lived in a beautiful apartment in Santa Monica, worked for a good salary at a tech company, had plans for the future. But everything had changed very quickly. First, his company went bankrupt. Due to the economic downturn in the tech sector, many firms were closing. Michael suddenly became unemployed. He had received severance pay, but this money didn't last long. Then health problems began. Depression and anxiety. The stress of not finding work affected him even more. Doctor bills, medication costs, his savings began to evaporate. 3 months later, he couldn't pay his rent. Although the landlord tried to be patient, he eventually had to evict the house. While Michael was storing his belongings in storage units, he hoped to find a temporary solution. He asked friends for help, but everyone had their own problems. He had no family. His parents had passed away years ago. His brother lived on the East Coast, and they weren't on good terms. In the first weeks, he stayed in motels. But when his money ran out, quickly, he started staying on the streets. Shelters were full and not safe. Michael had started living in the park. That cold December night, Michael had been on the streets for 3 months. With his last $3, he had bought cheap coffee trying to warm up. The hardest part for Michael was people not seeing him. He used to wear elegant suits, speak at technology conferences. Now he was someone sitting on the street with dirty clothes, a grown beard, and trembling hands. People would avert their eyes when passing by. Some were afraid, some disgusted, most completely ignored him. I was once like them too, Michael thought. One of those people who ignored the homeless, who thought it's their own fault. Now he understood that homelessness was something that could happen to anyone. An illness, a layoff, depression, and then the domino effect. That night was especially hard. Cold, hungry, and hopeless. He needed caffeine, but what could he buy with the $3 in his pocket? He went to the nearby 7-Eleven. Small coffee was $2.50. He bought the coffee and felt the disgust in the cashier's look at him as he returned. When he returned to the park, he sat on his bench and sipped the hot coffee. At least he could warm up for 20 minutes. It was approaching midnight. The park had completely emptied. There was only Michael and the cold wind. His blanket was thin and full of holes. He had gotten it from the Salvation Army, but it wasn't enough. His feet were frozen, his hands numb. I could freeze to death tonight, he thought. He wasn't exaggerating. Even in Los Angeles, homeless people died from hypothermia. He had no phone. Despite being a technology expert, he was now completely disconnected from the digital world. He thought about going to the nearby shelter, but there were also people who used drugs and applied violence there. Michael wasn't that desperate yet. When his coffee finished, the cold attacked again. He got up and started walking to speed up blood circulation. Just then, he saw a man walking in the distance. The man approached Michael. Michael tensed. People walking in parks at midnight usually weren't well-intentioned, but the man approached calmly. "Hello,"
he said in a soft voice. "Cold night." Michael was surprised. People usually didn't talk to him. "Yes, very cold," Michael said hesitantly. The man sat on the bench next to Michael. "I'm Keanu. You?" "Michael." "Michael, sitting here in this cold must be difficult." Michael looked at him. The man was dressed ordinarily, looked kind. But still, he needed to be careful. "I'm used to it," Michael said. "Would you like some coffee?" Something warm would be good, Michael thought. Was this man trying to give him money? Or did he want something else? "I don't want money," Michael said defensively. "I'm not giving any," Keanu said, smiling. "Just coffee." People talk to people. Keanu stood up. "I'll be back in 5 minutes. Will you wait here?" Michael didn't know why he should wait, but he nodded. Keanu left and really returned in 5 minutes with 2 large coffees. "Got large ones," he said, extending one to Michael. Michael took the coffee. His hands were so cold he could barely hold the cup. "Thank you," he said. "Why are you doing this?" "Because no one should be alone in this cold." The two sat side by side and drank their coffee. "What do you do for work, Keanu?" "I'm an actor. You?" "I used to be a software engineer. Now, I'm unemployed." "How long?" 6 months. 3 months on the streets." Keanu nodded. "Must be difficult." "Very difficult. I never thought I'd experience something like this."
"What happened?" Keanu asked. Michael didn't want to tell at first, but Keanu's sincere approach had affected him. The company went bankrupt. There was downsizing in the tech sector. I lost my job too. "Couldn't you find another job?" "I tried, but I'm getting older. I'm 42. Finding work in the tech sector after 40 is difficult. Besides, I had fallen into depression. My performance had dropped. Family? No. My parents passed away. I have a brother, but we're not on good terms." Keanu listened carefully. "The hardest part," Michael said, "is people not seeing you. I once spoke at technology conferences too. Now people avert their eyes when passing by." "I understand," Keanu said. "People are afraid because your situation reminds them that this could happen to them too." This comment surprised Michael. It was a very deep observation. "What kind of actor are you?" Michael asked. "Maybe you've seen some of my movies. Matrix, John Wick?" Michael's eyes widened. "Are you Keanu Reeves?" "Yes." "Wow. I used to love Matrix, especially the first movie." Michael paused. "But why are you talking to me? I mean, you're famous." "Because you're human too, and tonight is very cold." This simple but deep answer affected Michael. "People usually don't talk to me," Michael said. "They act like homelessness is a contagious disease." "I know. That's very wrong." The two talked for hours. Michael hadn't had such a normal conversation in a long time. "What did you do in the tech sector?" Keanu asked. "I was a back-end developer. APIs, databases. I was considered pretty good too. Would you like to work in this field again?" "Of course, but who would hire me in this state? No address, no phone, no clean clothes. These are all solvable problems." "Easy to say. After becoming homeless, the system excludes you. Credit score gets ruined, no one left to give references." Keanu thought, "If you could make a fresh start, what would you do?" "First, a place to stay. Then time to clean up and get myself together. Then I'd start looking for work." "Logical plan."
"Michael," Keanu said, "I have an offer for you."
"What offer?"
"Stay in a hotel tonight, on my account." Michael was surprised. No, this is too much. I can't ask such a thing from you." "Did you ask? I'm offering." "But why? You don't even know me." "I know you, Michael. You're intelligent, educated, talented. You're just going through a bad period." Michael's eyes filled with tears. He hadn't heard such positive things in a long time. I How will I pay this back? Don't pay it back. Pay it forward. Someday, you'll help someone else. Keanu took Michael to the nearby Holiday Inn. I made a reservation for a week, he told the reception. Michael couldn't believe it. A week? This is very expensive. Don't worry. You use this time to get yourself together. When they went up to the room, Michael couldn't hold back his tears. I hadn't showered in 3 months, he said. I hadn't slept in a real bed. Now you will. I'll bring you clean clothes tomorrow morning. Why are you doing this? Because everyone deserves a second chance. That night, Michael slept peacefully for the first time in months. The next morning, Keanu brought clean clothes, shaving supplies, and a new phone. This phone is yours. You'll need it for job interviews. After Michael showered and put on clean clothes, he didn't recognize himself when he looked in the mirror. I look very different, he said. You're still the same, Michael. You're just in your real form now. Keanu had also brought him a laptop. Update your CV. Start looking for work. What'll I write as address? This hotel's address. I extended the reservation for another month. A month? This is too much money. Michael, I believe in you. You'll find a job in this time.
Michael searched intensively for work for 2 weeks. He updated his CV, prepared a portfolio, had interviews. Keanu would stop by twice a week to check on the situation. How's it going? Going well. I was called for several second interviews. Great. Do you believe in yourself? Now, yes. When I was on the street, I felt worthless. Now I see my technical skills are still there. Of course they are. They never disappeared. In the 3rd week, Michael received important news. Keanu, I got a job offer. Really? Great! Senior developer position at a startup. The salary is good too. The two hugged. After Michael started work, he rented his own apartment. A small but clean studio apartment. Now you have your own place, Keanu said on his first visit. It's all thanks to you. How do I repay this kindness? I told you, pay it forward. How so? Help other people. Don't be prejudiced against the homeless. Share your story. Michael thought, actually, I have an idea. What is it? Coding boot camp for the homeless, teaching them programming. Keanu's face lit up. That's a wonderful idea. Michael developed a program called Code for Hope. The idea is this, he told Keanu. There are educated people among the homeless, giving them opportunities to re-enter the tech sector. How will it work? Free coding courses on weekends, providing laptops, job placement support, mentoring. Great idea. How can I help? We need funding, laptops, course space, teacher salaries. Keanu immediately announced his support. The first course started with 10 homeless people. 6 months later, the first graduates were given. 7 out of 10 people found jobs. Incredible, Michael said. This worked. One of the graduates, Janet, a 35-year-old former teacher, was now working as a QA tester at a tech company. Michael, Janet said at the graduation ceremony, you saved my life. I was just a tool. You created the real change. Keanu also spoke at the ceremony. Michael's story shows us this. Everyone deserves a second chance, and a chance given to one person can become hope for hundreds of people. By the end of 2023, Code for Hope had provided training to more than 50 people. 35 had found jobs. Michael was now focusing full-time on this project. Did you quit your job? Keanu asked. Yes, my company supports this project, and I work as a part-time consultant, but my main focus is this. Do you ever regret it? Never. This is much more meaningful. Michael's story began to appear in the media. News titled "From Homelessness to Technology Leadership" came out. Code for Hope was now opening branches in different parts of Los Angeles. Invitations were also coming from San Francisco and San Diego. How did you grow this project so much? A journalist asked. I didn't grow it alone, Michael said.
If Keanu Reeves hadn't given me the first chance, this would never have started. How did you meet Keanu Reeves? He found me in the park on a cold night. He just offered coffee and talked. It's that simple. This interview went viral. In 2024, Code for Hope became an official non-profit organization. Keanu was also on the board of directors. Michael, Keanu said at the board meeting, "You turned this into something much bigger than you imagined. The beginning was the hope you gave that night." No, the beginning was the strength inside you. I just helped us see it. The organization was now training 200 people annually. Michael's life had also improved. He had met a software developer named Jennifer and started a relationship. "How did you meet her?" Keanu asked. "As a volunteer teacher at Code for Hope. She heard my story, was very impressed by the project." "Great, are you happy?" "Very happy. But sometimes I think about that night. What if you hadn't passed through that park?" "But I did, and it wasn't coincidence."
Michael and Jennifer got married. Keanu was best man at the wedding. "Michael," he said in his wedding speech, "you taught me this. Human dignity can never be destroyed. We just need to see it. And you taught me this," Michael said. "The return of one moment can be a lifetime." Code for Hope was now operating in 5 cities. There were more than 300 graduates from the program. Michael's story became a Netflix documentary, From Code to Hope, a Silicon Valley story. The documentary also included the conversation that took place in the park that cold night. "That night," Michael said to the camera, "Keanu just sat next to me and talked to me. It's that simple. But sometimes the simplest gestures create the biggest changes." Keanu also appeared in the documentary. "I saw something special in Michael, his technical ability, determination, desire to help others. It was always there. He just needed an opportunity." Michael was now regularly visiting that park. "Why do you come here?" Keanu asked. "To remember who I was that night, where I came from, and where you're going." Exactly. A small plaque had been placed next to that bench. "Hope is always possible. Code for Hope." Graduates from Code for Hope were now also helping others. Janet had started her own nonprofit, Women in Tech Recovery. David was mentoring former homeless youth. Carlos was volunteering as a coding instructor at other organizations. "Do you see?" Michael said to Keanu. "Chain reaction. That's how real change happens." "Michael," Keanu said, "you changed me too." "How did I change you?" "You taught me empathy. You showed me the real face of homelessness. Now I'm much more active on this issue." Keanu had indeed started supporting many organizations fighting homelessness. "Also," Keanu said, "you showed me the power of second chances." "How so?" "I also received second chances in my life, but your story reminded me how valuable that is."
At the end of 2025, Michael and Keanu sat on that bench again. "It's been 3 years," Michael said. "Yes, and you've come an incredible way. We've come an incredible way." "Michael, I want to ask you a question." "Ask." "That night, in your darkest moment, could you imagine such a future?" Michael thought. "No, that night I was just thinking about not freezing to death. But there was something inside me, very deep down, a crumb of hope. That crumb of hope changed everything." "That and your coffee." Both laughed. "Michael," Keanu said, "your story gives hope to hundreds of people. This makes me very happy. But the beginning was the humanity you showed that night." "No, Michael, the beginning was your not giving up. I was just in the right place at the right time." Michael took out something small from his pocket. "I want to give you something." He extended a small key to Keanu. "What's this?" "The key to our Code for Hope Center, honorary founder key. Without you,
this center wouldn't exist either. Keanu was very moved. "This is very important, Michael. You are very important." "What are your plans from now on?" Keanu asked. "Spreading code for hope throughout America, maybe internationally too. But my main goal." "What is it?" "Breaking prejudices about homelessness. Showing people that homelessness can happen to anyone, and everyone deserves a second chance. This is a very important mission. I'm trying to live up to the second chance you gave me that night." Michael was now also talking to politicians about homelessness. "The system must change," he would say. "Homelessness should not be punished. It should be solved." Keanu also supported him on this issue. "You've become an activist now," Keanu said. "I'm just sharing my experience as someone who has lived the inside of homelessness."
Michael wrote his story as a book, From Zero to Code, How One Cold Night Changed Everything. All proceeds from the book were donated to organizations fighting homelessness. "This book," Michael said at the book signing, "is not just my story, it's the story of hundreds of Michaels." Keanu had also written the foreword to the book. "Sometimes life's darkest moments turn into the brightest beginnings." Michael's story is proof of this. 3 years later, sitting on the same bench in the same park for the last time. "This book was very successful," Keanu said. "Yes, but most importantly, people got the message. The perspective on homelessness is changing." "What about you? Are you happy?" "Very happy. Jennifer and I are married. Code for Hope is growing. We're helping thousands of people. But I never forget that night. The night I was cold, hungry, hopeless." "Why don't you forget?" "Because it reminds me who I am, where I came from, and that there are always other Michaels out there." Keanu nodded. "And you always show that there are other Keanus out there." "How so?" "You show people that everyone can help each other. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to be rich. You just need humanity." Michael was having one of the most meaningful conversations of his life. "Keanu, I want to ask you one last question." "Ask." "Why did you notice me that night? There are hundreds of people on the streets." Keanu thought for a long time. "I don't know, Michael. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe it was fate. But I know this. When I saw you that night, I saw my own past." "How so?" "I also went through difficult times. Maybe I didn't stay on the streets, but I know lostness, hopelessness. That night, I saw myself in you. And by helping me, you helped yourself too." "Maybe so." The two sat in silence for a long time. "Michael," Keanu said, "you taught me this. Sometimes life's greatest gifts come at the most unexpected moments. You taught me this. It's never too late. No matter how low we hit, there's always a way out." Today, Michael Davidson is the hero of a story that returned from homelessness to the technology world and gave hope to thousands of people. The Code for Hope organization now operates in 15 cities across America and has opened a new life door for more than 1,500 homeless people. Michael's story is not just an individual success story, but also an example showing the power of social solidarity and second chances. That cold December night in the park, Keanu Reeves didn't just offer coffee to a homeless man. He showed him that human dignity was not lost, that everyone deserved a second chance. And Michael used this chance not just for himself, but for thousands of people. That bench in Griffith Park is now known as the Hope Bench. The plaque on it reads, "Hope never dies, it just sleeps." Sometimes all it takes to wake it up is a cup of coffee and some understanding. Michael and Jennifer now live a happy marriage in Los Angeles and work on expanding Code for Hope. Michael now regularly speaks at congresses and universities, raising awareness about homelessness.
Every person who graduates from Code for Hope writes their own hope stories by living Michael's story. Janet is now CEO of her own company. David mentors youth, and Carlos continues his life as a coding instructor. After this experience, Keanu started supporting many organizations fighting homelessness. But most importantly, after that day, he started seeing every homeless person he saw on the street with different eyes. Michael's book, From Zero to Code, made it to the New York Times bestseller list and became one of the important works that changed social perception about homelessness. The story that started on that cold December night in Los Angeles has now turned into a movement that gives hope to the homeless around the world. Because sometimes the brightest hopes are born in the darkest nights. And it all started with a stranger saying "cold night." Michael Davidson's story teaches us this. Human dignity never disappears. We just need to see, recognize, and support it. And a second chance given to one person can become hope for thousands of people. Because real angels sometimes appear in parks at midnight and change lives just by offering coffee.